I am Debbie Bryan, and I am Barb Bryan's oldest sister. There are three of us. Linda, our middle sister, lives in California. Barb and I still live in the city we were born in, Pittsburgh. I'm 7 years older than Barb. Linda was 5 years older than Barb. So when Barb was born, and she was born in 1959, and my mom and dad brought her home, at first we thought everything was just fine. And within a couple months they realized that Barb was not progressing as she should be. And I was only 7, so I don't remember a lot of how that transpired, but I know first of all that they realized she was having a physical disability with her hips. She wasn't moving her legs properly or the way she would hold her legs. And they found that she had, her hip bones did not develop in the joints as most of us would. And at that point in time, there wasn't a whole lot they could do. This was, medical back in '59 wasn't as progressive as it is today. Initially, she had cast, and I remember the first one, she was only about 4 or 5 months old, and she had a cast from her waist to her toes, where her legs were spread out, sort of like this, and there was a bar between her cast, and my dad would pick her up and just carry her around like this, because she was Daddy's girl, and, she was pretty special to all of us. At that point, we loved her very much, and we still do. But Barb went through many surgeries as a small child in trying to correct some of the disabilities with her legs and her hips. But as things progressed, they noticed there were other issues with Barb, and that was developmental disabilities. That she wasn't talking and learning as quickly as most toddlers do. It wasn't just a matter of not being able to crawl as well as others or walk. She was also having trouble with understanding and communicating. There were some programs for her to go to, and she would learn different things, and we would show her different things. Barb has a fantastic memory. She loves to watch TV.
Like Law and Order.
Yes, and she's great at trivia. If you ever have a trivia game, Barb's a good one, especially when it comes to TV, having her on your team. Because if we couldn't remember who played what, we'd say, Barb, who was that on that show? She loved Dr. Gannon. Do you remember Dr. Gannon?
Yeah, but they took him off.
Yeah, they did. She loved him on Medical Center, huh?
Yeah.
And she could remember all those names and who played what. And so we always used to tease her about that. But Barb, she developed, as they say right now, mentally, possibly to the age of 5 or 6. And because she cannot take care of herself, because a 5 or 6-year-old couldn't. She could not be left alone or to travel on her own. She always needed assistance. And although they did a lot of surgeries on her legs, some of them they said like replacing her hip bones would never happen till she was an adult. So my mom and dad cared for her always. At one point she had a body cast on. Her spine curved as a result of her disabilities with her hips. She also has a metal bar in her back. She was about, she was a teenager when she had the body cast on, which was like from her chest all the way down to her feet. And we had a bed, hospital bed in the house, and my mother would take care of her. Our father, unfortunately, passed away at a very early age. Barb was only 7 at that time. I was 14. Linda was 9. And he developed cancer, and within 6 months we lost him. I remember my mom at that time worrying about caring for 3 girls. My mother didn't work because she always stayed home to take care of Barb. My father was a truck driver for A&P Foods back then, but when he passed, the responsibility was all on my mom. And she sat me down once, because I remember thinking later that, wow, you know, you're 14 or 15 years old and all of a sudden life isn't as great as it was a few months ago. She sat me down and said, you know, your sister Barb is always going to need help. And if something ever happens to me, she says, will you make sure she's taken care of? And I said, yes, I would, thinking to myself, wow, you know, at that point in time. But then as a teenager, it went in and it went out. You kind of forget about it. But I always kept that in the back of my head, that not only was I Barb's big sister, but now I was her protector. My mom, as many times as Barbara got older, some folks did suggest that maybe it was time to see if Barb could go to other agencies or other living suggestions. My mom was very adamant that she would always take care of her child. But as Barb got older and my mom got older, this became a little physically harder for my mom. So in the early 90s, I had been married and I have a son, Michael. And as Michael was graduating, he was still at home, but I realized my mom was going to start needing help. So I bought a home that would fit us all. And my mom and Barb moved in with me and Mike. And Michael and Barbie have a special relationship because Michael loves to tease Barbie, right?
Right.
But Barbie likes to tease Michael back too, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's right. So they've always had a special bond, and Barbie loves to make stories up about Michael, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But when the 4 of us moved in together, it was a whole new getting used to this arrangement, but we did very well. And as my mother got older, it became a little harder for her. And when my mother got sick, that's when I realized just how much my mother did for us and my sister. But when my mom passed, I remember coming home from the nursing home. The last 4 or 5 months of her life, she was in a nursing home. And I remember coming home trying to think of how I was going to tell Barb. And I had family with me, and I sat down and I told Barb that Mom had gone to heaven to spend time with Dad. And Barbie looked at me and said, that's okay, we will take care of each other. They told me about an agency called Southwinds that has 24-hour care, but that it was 24-hour wait care. There was always somebody up taking care of the individuals in the home. And a woman named Carol came to our house to meet Barbie and to interview us. And we liked her very much. And from what I heard from Carol about Southwinds, I thought this might be something we can do. And they had an opening, and they invited first me to the house that Barb might live in. And I walked into this house, and Marion greeted me. And the first thing Marion wanted to do was show me her room. She said, come on, I show you my room. And we went in, and she took me on a tour of the house. And I met Marion, and there was another resident there named Barb. And it was just going to be the 3 of them. It was a little ranch house over on Margaretta Street. And this was in Carnegie, and it wasn't far from my home. And I liked it very much, and I liked the people and the work. I was very impressed with what they showed me. So I let Carol know I was very interested in putting Barb in this in her own home. She was moving out on her own, right?
What?
You were becoming independent.
Yeah.
And so I took Barb to the home. And she hit it off with Marion and the other Barb right away. In fact, we were surprised when you went there because you knew the other Barb, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
She went to her day program, Barb Maloney.
Yeah.
So that was nice because it gave her a connection and a little something that she knew. And we took Barb to what would be her room, and she liked it very much. And I talked it over with family. And when I talk to Southwinds about the things that they do and how they care for their individuals and they give them as much independence as they can handle.
Yeah.
She gets to go places, she goes to dances. And one of the jokes among my friends is that Barbie has a better social life than I do. I haven't been to a dance in a long time. You realize that? And you've been to what, 4 this year?
Yeah, 4.
Yeah. So she's a little social butterfly right now.
Yeah.
But Southwinds has been my savior because that one year in my life where I was trying to care for Barb, keep my job so I could keep the house we were living in.
Yeah.
And care for, well, 2 years really, the first year my mom and Barb, and then when it was me and Barb, I knew I couldn't go on like that. I talked to friends and family and they all made me realize that what I was doing for Barb was a good thing. Becoming independent and becoming more social. My parents, I think, would be very proud of what we've accomplished and what Barb has accomplished in her lifetime. This agency has done so much for my sister and for us. It's given Barb the opportunity to grow. The Pittsburgh reevaluation, Pittsburgh
Blind.
Thank you, Barb. The Pittsburgh Blind and Rehabilitation has helped her in many ways too with her daily functions and interactions, but she has grown, and some of my friends have said how much Barb has grown as an individual since she's been with Southwinds. She's become more outgoing. She, like I said, goes to dances. She never did those things before. She enjoys that. Let's tell them about some of the things you like to do. What are some of the things you like to do, Barb?
We go out and eat.
You love to go out to eat and have dinner, right? Lunch and dinner out?
Yes.
What's one of your favorite restaurants?
Denny's.
Denny's?
Yeah.
What about Eden Park?
Yeah, I like that one too.
Okay. And what's one of your big dinner restaurants? What do you like to eat? What's one of your favorite foods?
Shrimp.
And where do you like to go get shrimp?
Red Lobster.
Red Lobster, yeah.
Yeah.
And when we go out, what else do we do when we go out?
Like what?
Like, where do we go? What's one of the first things you ask me when I walk in the door? Are we going to the
mall?
The mall. You love going to the mall.
Yeah.
You like to look.
Yeah.
And you like to shop, and
yeah.
Sometimes we buy things, but sometimes we can't, right?
Because I have to have my money and I have to bring it with me.
Yeah. We have to watch our money. Is that what I tell you?
Yeah, we have to watch it.
Because if not, Barb likes to buy everything she sees, huh?
And I don't want to do that. Yeah. That would be too much.
So, and what else do you do during the day? You go to the rehabilitation center. Do you like going there every day?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Not living here at your house. How do you like your house here with Southwinds?
I do like it.
You do like it. And your roommates?
Yeah.
You like all the people here that take care of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're special, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you have your own room here?
Yes, I like it better.
You like it? And some of the things that you like to do during the day besides listen to music, what are those?
I do coloring books with Brenda.
Uh-huh.
First time I went to church.
Oh yes, she likes going to church. She goes with Marion sometimes.
Yeah.
And Brenda.
And Brenda.
Say, she's been to several different denominations of churches, huh? You like them all, don't you?
Yeah.
She is so cared for. The individuals that take care of them at the homes, they've all been a godsend. They care for these individuals. They worry about them. At holidays, I can take Barb home, but not all of them have family to go home to. These individuals will take them to their homes and make them part of their family. They are very caring people, and they're very special.